Wait, did your July check just grow without you lifting a finger? That extra 2.8% might look like pocket change on paper, but stay with me and I'll show you how those 40-odd bonus dollars can snowball into real breathing room, covering a week of groceries, topping up your Presto card, or even kickstarting an RDSP that triples your money. We're unpacking every angle, the new max rates, hidden knock-ons for work incentives, and the moves advocacy groups are making right now to push for a base rate reset before the 2026 election. If you rely on ODSP, or know someone who does, this isn't just news, it's a roadmap to squeeze every last ounce of value out of the July 2025 bump and position yourself for the bigger wins still on the table. Smash that like if you're ready to turn a modest raise into serious leverage. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an update on payment dates, earnings exemptions, and the coming Canada Disability Benefit. Drop your biggest question about the increase in the comments below. Your concern could be the focus of our next deep dive. Let's make this raise work harder than it looks. 1. What exactly is happening on July 1st, 2025? Ontario will apply its annual inflation formula to ODSP for the fourth straight year, delivering a 2.8% bump to core rates. That percentage reflects the 12-month average CPI for Ontario, September 2023 – August 2024, which the province wrote into regulation back in 2022 when it first tied ODSP to inflation. The increase covers the two line items every recipient sees on their statement, basic needs and shelter, plus board and lodge amounts, long-term care rates, and the special double-disabled couple rate. It lands on the July 31st check, the last business day before the civic holiday weekend. For context, the Ford government added a 5% flat raise in September 2022 and has indexed the program ever since, meaning ODSP has risen roughly 20% in 3 years, still below cumulative inflation but a break from the decade-long freeze that preceded it. New dollar figures, basic needs and AMP, shelter after the 2.8% lift. Here's what the math looks like at street level. A single adult living in the community currently receives up to $1.368/month, $706 basic needs plus $662 shelter. Add 2.8% and the ceiling jumps to is almost equal to $1,408, an extra $40 that will automatically appear without paperwork. For couples where both partners are disabled, the maximum rises from about $2,306 to $2,370, while a family of 3 could see its top line grow from $2,422 to around $2,490. Exact shelter caps depend on city size. Board and lodge cases go up too. A single person's $1,021 becomes $1,050 and so on. Remember, these are maximums. ODSP will still trim shelter if your actual rent is lower and add special diet, remote community, or mandatory travel supplements on top. Side effects, health, work incentives, and other add-ons. Because the inflation clause applies to core rates only, most supplements remain flat rate. Your $149 personal needs allowance in long-term care, the $250 pregnancy/breastfeeding nutritional allowance, or the up to $500 remote community northern allowance do not rise. However, the $1,000 monthly earnings exemption still starts at the same threshold, so working recipients keep every dollar of the 2.8% raise plus the first grand of net wages before the 75% clawback kicks in, a useful buffer for part-timers trying to stretch grocery budgets. The Canada Disability Benefit, CDB, still awaiting federal regulations, will be treated as fully exempt once it launches, meaning this ODSP increase won't reduce any future CDB top-up. Is 2.8% enough? Where advocacy goes next, indexation stopped the bleeding, but the math shows recipients are still poorer in real terms than in 2018. The FAO pegs average ODSP purchasing power in 2028 to 29 at $15,646 below pre-freeze levels. Poverty groups argue that tying ODSP to Ontario's market basket measure, about $2,400 per month for singles, rather than CPI, would set a floor that actually meets basic costs. The 2025 to 26 provincial budget earmarks $7.2 billion for disability benefits, yet leaves no room for a structural catch-up raise. Advocacy coalitions are therefore focusing on 3 levers. 1. Pushing MPPs for a one-time base rate reset before the 2026 election. 2. Ensuring the forthcoming CDB stacks on top of ODSP without offsets. And 3. Expanding the $1,000 earnings exemption to $1,500, matching 20-hour per week part-time work at minimum wage. With CPI expected to cool to 2.1% next year, the automatic bump in July 2026 could be even smaller, making 2025's increase a reminder that indexation is a floor, not a solution.